She's trembling, barely speaking, and friends say they're scared for her life.
It's official there. British rock star Ozzy Osbourne has died at the age of 76.
Damage, not Ozzy's physical damage, but the emotional damage that's been caused to our family has just been extraordinary. You know, we've had struggles with Ozzy with addiction over the years.
After the death of music legend Ozzy Osbourne on July 22nd, 2025, the world was not only shocked by the immense loss of one of rock's greatest icons, but also by the unanswered questions surrounding his passing. One of the events that stirred public attention was Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's wife, becoming the subject of an official investigation by authorities. Ozzy's death, which was believed to be due to long-term health issues, suddenly became shrouded in mystery when some unusual signs during his end-of-life care were discovered. So was Sharon Osbourne truly involved in her husband's death, or was this merely a misunderstanding in a time filled with emotion and tension? This story has aspects that have yet to be revealed and may hold many surprises, leaving not only fans, but also the family and the public stunned. Sharon Osbourne, a woman known for her strength and management skills, had always been a loyal partner, standing by Ozzy through every challenge in his life. However, after Ozzy's death, secret investigations began, and it seemed that Sharon was the one facing complex questions from authorities. Why did Sharon become a suspect in an investigation regarding her husband's death? Was there something suspicious about Ozzy's final months that the family and fans were unaware of? These questions became even more complicated when certain signs in Ozzy's care process suddenly turned into points of suspicion. The relationship between Ozzy and his wife, known as a strong and inseparable couple, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne faced numerous challenges, from the highs of Ozzy's music career to personal battles. However, Ozzy's passing has uncovered aspects of their relationship that the public had never known. Sharon first met Ozzy when she was a young girl, working in her father's company, which managed Black Sabbath. During those years, Sharon not only became Ozzy's wife, but also his manager, making key decisions in his career and personal life. They married in 1982, and from that moment, Sharon became an irreplaceable part of Ozzy's life, not just as a life partner, but also as a support system through many significant challenges. However, their life together was not always smooth. Ozzy struggled with addiction and health issues for a long period, and Sharon was the one who cared for him. Their relationship endured pressure not only from personal struggles, but also from challenges in Ozzy's music career. While Ozzy faced personal crises, Sharon was always there, managing Ozzy's career, overseeing his business affairs, and accompanying him on tour. However, throughout this time, there were signs of tension in their relationship that not everyone noticed. Close friends and family of the Osbourne family have commented that Sharon could sometimes be overly controlling in Ozzy's decisions, particularly in managing his finances and health care. While this could be explained by Sharon's care and protection for Ozzy, it occasionally raised questions about the dynamics of their relationship. There are stories that during Ozzy's battle with Parkinson's disease, Sharon sometimes showed impatience when Ozzy insisted on continuing his treatments, which made him feel neglected and not properly cared for. Some of Ozzy's close friends revealed that in the final months of his life, Sharon made the decision to stop medical treatment for Ozzy without consulting the specialists. Although Sharon's reasoning may have been to allow Ozzy to pass peacefully without further pain from his illness, these decisions were not well received by doctors and loved ones, leading to suspicions about her true motives. While Sharon was always by Ozzy's side, at times, her decisions became a source of tension. Sharon always wanted to protect Ozzy from everything around him. But there were moments when she became the one applying pressure, making their relationship less than perfect. Events like these only fueled suspicions in the final months of Ozzy's life, as unusual signs began to emerge. Private conversations between Ozzy and Sharon in his final days left the public questioning what really happened between them. Why did Sharon make the decision to stop Ozzy's treatment when his health could still have been maintained? Did she overstep her role in making medical decisions that Ozzy should have consulted with healthcare professionals, or was this merely a misunderstanding in a time of great emotional stress? These doubts not only stem from Sharon's medical decisions, but also from other factors, such as the family finances and changes to Ozzy's will. Investigating the process. After Ozzy Osbourne's death, on July 22nd, 2025, authorities began an investigation to clarify the circumstances surrounding his passing. Although Ozzy had a long history of health issues, including Parkinson's disease, and the aftermath of his addiction, certain unusual factors made his death appear suspicious. One of the most notable concerns was Sharon Osbourne's decision to stop Ozzy's medical treatment in his final months. In the final months of his life, Ozzy decided to discontinue his medical treatment, a decision that seemed reasonable given his severe deterioration due to Parkinson's and other illnesses. However, what doctors and authorities began to focus on was whether this decision came entirely from Ozzy's own wish, or if it was heavily influenced by Sharon, who was not only his wife, but also the manager of his finances and health care. According to some sources, when Ozzy insisted on continuing treatment, Sharon decided to stop the medication, seeking to allow Ozzy to pass peacefully. Some of Ozzy's former doctors revealed that Sharon had pressured Ozzy to discontinue his medical treatment without consulting other specialists. They believed that stopping his treatment could have been a hasty move when he still had the potential to continue living with medical support. This raised suspicions about Sharon's motives. Did she truly act in Ozzy's best interest? Or was there another reason that wasn't immediately apparent? Some close friends of the Osbourne family shared that Sharon showed impatience and frustration with the delay in Ozzy's treatment, especially when he requested to continue care in order to maintain his health. Some witnesses suggested that Sharon might have wanted Ozzy to pass away sooner to avoid the stress of caring for him, even if it meant his death came earlier than expected. Although their relationship was often praised as one of deep love and resilience, in Ozzy's final years, the strain between them became increasingly apparent. Sharon was not only his wife, but also the primary manager of his life and career, which created tension in their relationship. Many in the entertainment industry had noted that Sharon could be excessively controlling, from managing Ozzy's health to making crucial financial decisions. Throughout his battle with Parkinson's, Ozzy became increasingly fatigued and struggled with basic activities. Under Sharon's care, though he received devoted attention, there were times when Ozzy felt that Sharon's control became overwhelming. The disputes between Ozzy and Sharon about whether to continue or stop treatment added to the tension in their relationship. Ozzy, who had been strong and decisive throughout his career, now faced the situation of not being able to make decisions about his own health. It's possible that Sharon was deeply concerned for Ozzy's health, and wanted him to pass peacefully without enduring further pain. However, it's also undeniable that her decisions led to tension within the family. Ozzy's treating doctor stated that in his final months, Ozzy seemed to want to continue fighting the illness, but Sharon, overwhelmed and burdened by her role, decided to stop his medication without proper consultation with medical professionals. One reason Sharon Osbourne became a primary subject of investigation was due to unusual changes in Ozzy's will. While Sharon was the primary heir in the family, some of Ozzy's lawyers discovered discrepancies in the will during his final months. According to certain sources, copies of the will showed significant differences, and some important clauses had been altered without full confirmation from Ozzy. The alteration of the will, in this context, is a crucial factor in the investigation. If Sharon had interfered in Ozzy's financial decisions, this could be linked to personal financial interests. Some members of the Osbourne family have suspected that Sharon might have manipulated financial decisions to secure her own interests, especially considering the substantial wealth Ozzy had accumulated over the years. However, Sharon maintained that she only wanted to protect the family's assets and follow Ozzy's wishes. She insisted that all decisions regarding the will were made with Ozzy's consent, but the ambiguity surrounding the process of drafting the will has only fueled growing doubts. With signs of irregularities in Ozzy's care process and changes to his will, Sharon Osbourne has come under suspicion in the investigation. Some of Ozzy's family members and close friends have criticized Sharon's management of Ozzy's health in his final years, while Sharon continues to claim that everything she did was out of love and care for her husband. The unclear details in his treatment and the management of his assets have led the public to question her motives. Testimonies from Ozzy's doctors and members of the Osbourne family suggest that Sharon may not have truly listened to Ozzy when it came to important decisions about his health, especially when Ozzy asked to continue treatment. It is also undeniable that as the financial manager, Sharon may have had personal motives when making decisions regarding Ozzy's assets and will. Was Sharon Osbourne truly the only one responsible for Ozzy's death, or were there other factors the public has not been made aware of? These questions are not easily answered, and only a thorough investigation can clarify all the suspicions. Other reasons for suspicion, as details surrounding the death of Ozzy Osbourne began to emerge, it wasn't just the decision to stop medical treatment and the unusual changes in his will that caused public uproar, but also other factors that raised suspicions about Sharon Osbourne's true motives. In addition to being Ozzy's wife, Sharon also managed the family's finances and was the only one with control over Ozzy's estate. This led many to question whether she had financial motives in controlling her husband's assets, especially after Ozzy's death. Sharon Osbourne, besides being his wife, was the key financial manager for the Osbourne family for many years. After Ozzy's success in his music career from Black Sabbath to his solo career, the Osbourne family had amassed a vast fortune, including music contracts, personal brands, and products like the reality TV show The Osbournes. Sharon, with her sharp business acumen, had a significant influence on all financial decisions within the family. One of the biggest points of suspicion was Sharon's control over Ozzy's finances. Although she always claimed that every decision regarding the estate was made for the benefit of the family after Ozzy's death, some people in the entertainment industry and close family friends began to voice concerns that Sharon might have manipulated Ozzy's assets to secure her own interests. Several sources suggest that Sharon had too much control and didn't allow anyone, including family members, to be involved in financial decisions. Sharon was the only one managing Ozzy's estate and inheritance, while Ozzy's children were not involved in these decisions, leading many to question her motives. Some of Ozzy's close friends shared that Sharon might have prevented Ozzy from making decisions about his own estate, which only intensified suspicions about her financial motives. After Ozzy's death, changes in his investments and financial contracts were discovered. Ozzy's lawyers revealed that there were clauses in his will that they had never noticed before. This led to speculation that Sharon may have altered some provisions in the will without Ozzy's consent. Did Sharon act in Ozzy's best interest, or was she simply protecting her own and her family's assets? That remains an unanswered question. Right after Ozzy passed away, reports emerged that some of his valuable belongings, including cherished music memorabilia, had gone missing. These items were not only valuable in material terms, but were also symbolic, tied to Ozzy's legendary career. These memorabilia were considered priceless heirlooms, not just for the family, but also for Ozzy's fans worldwide. However, shortly after Ozzy's death, some items could not be found. Sharon explained that all of Ozzy's assets were legally protected and would be distributed fairly. Still, some valuable items, including old recordings, performance outfits, and personal belongings of Ozzy, were missing. This led to a wave of suspicion, with some wondering if Sharon had manipulated these assets to protect the family's interests, or even kept certain personal items of Ozzy for herself. It's possible Sharon decided to keep these items for sentimental reasons given their connection to Ozzy, but the disappearance of these items fueled public doubt. The fact that Sharon was the only one managing Ozzy's assets raised suspicions that she may have manipulated these items, especially as there was no oversight from other members of the Osbourne family. Some of the family's friends mentioned that in Ozzy's final months, Sharon appeared quite determined in controlling everything related to her husband, including his valuable belongings. These items could have been sold or kept by the family to maintain the assets, but what stood out was that they were not shared with the public or fans who had supported Ozzy for years. Ozzy Osbourne's passing and the unusual circumstances surrounding his death have left the public continually questioning what really happened. Did Sharon have financial motives to secure her family's interests, or was there excessive intervention in Ozzy's care and treatment process? The disappearance of valuable items, along with tensions in Ozzy and Sharon's relationship, has raised significant questions about Sharon's motives. Another key question that the public and investigators are seeking an answer to is whether Sharon made a mistake in intervening with Ozzy's treatment process, especially when he requested to continue his medical care. Or were the decisions Sharon made truly in Ozzy's best interest, considering he was facing severe illness and deterioration? These questions remain unanswered, and the investigation into Ozzy Osbourne's death will continue to be closely followed in the coming period. 4. Related theories. As questions surrounding Ozzy Osbourne's death continued to emerge, not only did authorities begin investigating, but the public also began offering their own theories on the matter. Did Sharon Osbourne truly intervene excessively in Ozzy's final decisions, or was there a deeper reason behind her becoming the subject of investigation? While these theories are not supported by solid evidence, they highlight numerous doubts regarding Sharon and Ozzy's relationship in the final months of his life. One of the most popular theories about Ozzy's death is that Sharon may have encouraged Ozzy to stop treatment so that he could pass away peacefully. While this decision might be viewed as humanitarian and stemming from Sharon's concern for Ozzy's health, it's also possible that she wanted to end the stress of long-term care for him. Ozzy, with the symptoms of Parkinson's disease and other serious health issues, gradually became unable to care for himself. Sharon was the only one in the family responsible for his care, and according to some of their close friends, she may have felt overwhelmed. Some healthcare professionals speculated that Sharon may have decided to stop treatment because she felt too much pressure and wanted Ozzy to pass away without facing further pain and deterioration. If this theory is true, the big question remains, did Sharon act out of love or out of her own emotional exhaustion from caring for Ozzy? Another theory suggests that the relationship between Sharon and Ozzy had strained in the final years of his life. Although Sharon had always been a strong supporter throughout Ozzy's career, the difficulty of caring for someone with a severe illness may have affected their bond. According to some sources, Sharon faced pressure not only from caring for Ozzy, but also from personal issues between them. At times, Sharon was said to have felt stressed by her role as both wife and manager, and their relationship wasn't always harmonious. Although there is no concrete evidence to suggest that their relationship truly suffered significant strain, interviews and conversations Ozzy shared with friends hint that he did feel burdened by his complete dependence on Sharon. This may have caused Sharon to feel pressured, and according to some theories, she might not have had the patience to continue caring for Ozzy. Could the tension in their relationship have been the reason Sharon became a suspect in the investigation? After Ozzy's death, the decision to stop treatment may have been an attempt to relieve both herself and Ozzy from the ongoing stress in their lives. In addition to personal tensions, Sharon Osbourne may have faced immense pressure from both family and the public during the years she cared for Ozzy. Sharon, who carried many responsibilities within the family, not only had to look after Ozzy's health, but also manage the family finances and business affairs. As Ozzy faced Parkinson's and health issues related to his addiction, family and friends noticed that Sharon was shouldering too much responsibility. According to some of the Osbourne family's close friends, Sharon occasionally appeared exhausted and worn out. The pressure from family, the demands of caring for Ozzy's health, and the public scrutiny had become overwhelming for Sharon. While she always did her best to fulfill her role, there were moments when she may have felt overburdened and lacked support from those around her. This pressure could have been a factor that led Sharon to decide it was time for Ozzy to pass peacefully. However, these decisions raised doubts about Sharon's true motives. Did she act for Ozzy's benefit or because of her own emotional exhaustion? One of the most suspicious elements regarding Ozzy's death is the changes in his will. Sharon Osbourne, as the financial manager and the sole decision-maker regarding Ozzy's assets, might have made some changes to his will without Ozzy's full consent. This has raised questions about Sharon's financial motives and whether she altered the will to protect the family's interests. Some information from Ozzy's lawyers indicates that new versions of the will were created without Ozzy's full participation. The terms in these versions may have been altered without confirmation from Ozzy, leading to suspicions that Sharon may have used her influence to change significant clauses in her favor. This is a crucial factor that has made Sharon a suspect in the investigation into Ozzy's death. Conclusion on the investigation. After Ozzy Osbourne's death on July 22nd, 2025, with suspicions surrounding his passing, the authorities launched an investigation to clarify the ambiguous details of his end-of-life care, particularly related to Sharon Osbourne's involvement. The investigation not only focused on medical and financial aspects, but also raised questions about Sharon's motives in making crucial decisions regarding Ozzy's health and assets in his final days. As suspicions grew surrounding Ozzy's death, law enforcement, especially federal investigative teams, quickly got involved. The police stated that they would not only investigate the irregularities in Ozzy's medical care, but also look into the financial aspects and the personal relationship between Sharon and Ozzy. According to a source from the investigation, Sharon's exclusive control over Ozzy's estate and decisions about his health in the final months created a context filled with suspicion. Initially, the police focused on determining whether Ozzy voluntarily decided to stop treatment or if that decision was prompted by Sharon. Ozzy's treating doctors were asked to provide detailed information about his treatment process discussions between Ozzy and Sharon, and the important decisions Sharon made. However, due to Ozzy's severely weakened health in his final months, doctors believed that Ozzy may not have had the capacity to make long-term decisions about stopping his medication. The police also conducted interviews with members of the Osbourne family, particularly Ozzy and Sharon's children, to clarify the family dynamics. Some family members and Ozzy's close friends shared that they felt Ozzy had become overly dependent on Sharon, and perhaps he no longer had the ability to make significant decisions for himself. Although Sharon consistently claimed that all decisions she made were in Ozzy's best interest, these statements led the police to question her true motives. Although Ozzy's death was acknowledged as being due to long-term health issues, authorities could not overlook the unusual changes in Ozzy's will. The police collected copies of Ozzy's will and noticed some changes in the terms that may have occurred in the final months of his life. One of the reasons the police focused on these changes was because Sharon Osbourne was the only one with control over Ozzy's finances and decisions regarding his estate. The possibility that Sharon might have interfered with the terms of Ozzy's will made things more complicated. Ozzy's legal experts and lawyers joined the investigation to clarify whether the changes in the will were Ozzy's decisions or the result of Sharon's intervention. The investigation indicated that these changes may have been made when Ozzy was in poor health and could not fully confirm whether he understood the terms in the will before signing them. The police also verified information regarding the disappearance of some of Ozzy's valuable assets, including music memorabilia and personal items. Although Sharon Osbourne explained that all of Ozzy's assets were legally protected and would be distributed fairly, investigators still raised questions about whether these items were lost or deliberately tampered with. Throughout the investigation, Sharon Osbourne spoke out and cooperated with the authorities, but maintained that all decisions she made were for her husband's benefit. Sharon shared that she always wanted Ozzy to pass in peace and without enduring the pain of Parkinson's disease. Sharon stated that she never intended to control or manipulate any of Ozzy's decisions, but simply wanted to help him find peace in his final days. However, Sharon's statements did not fully eliminate the doubts from the public and the investigators. Some family members, particularly Ozzy's children, expressed concern over Sharon's decisions in Ozzy's final days. Ozzy's children, Jack and Kelly Osbourne, had often voiced their worries about how Sharon managed Ozzy's assets and health decisions. While they always supported their mother, they couldn't help but question the level of control Sharon had demonstrated during her care for Ozzy. Some of the Osbourne family's close friends commented that Sharon was not easily open to outside input when it came to family decisions. They described her as a decisive woman, who in many situations may have acted without consulting other family members fully. However, others believed Sharon always acted in the best interest of the family. And Ozzy, though at times, her way of making decisions raised suspicions. The federal investigation into Ozzy Osbourne's death continues to attract public attention. Although there has been no official conclusion yet, the suspicions about Sharon's involvement in Ozzy's health and financial decisions persist. The unusual signs in medical care, changes in the will, and the disappearance of valuable assets have made the authorities question Sharon's motives. Although Sharon has cooperated with authorities and insisted that all her decisions were for Ozzy's benefit, the unclear details regarding his treatment and the management of his assets continue to be a controversial topic. This investigation not only aims to clarify Ozzy's death, but also sheds light on the complex issues surrounding financial interests and family relationships within the Osbourne family. The police will continue to monitor the case, and if sufficient evidence is found, a final conclusion will be made. But until then, the public remains in a state of uncertainty and suspicion about what truly happened after the death of a music legend. Ozzy Osbourne's death was not only the passing of a music icon, but also opened a series of questions about the truth behind his death. Whether Sharon Osbourne is directly involved in her husband's passing is still unclear, but the unusual signs and circumstances in Ozzy's final days have led to significant doubt. Was it a misunderstanding in a time of grief and stress, or a more complex situation that the public has not fully understood? All answers remain unclear, and Sharon Osbourne's story will continue to attract attention in the coming months. Please leave your thoughts on this case below the video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay updated on the latest developments.